90% of the time when Bitcoin moves up in value, it's because people are buying it. But according to sources, they're suggesting that Bitcoin's price moving up is because of Bitcoin traders. And by the time I'm done with this video, we're going to use this information to help you understand and have an awareness of where Bitcoin is likely to end up, purely off people trading Bitcoin. Now, if you are new to the channel, mad love and respect for passing through, hit the like button, make sure you subscribe. Let's have a conversation. So this is the article that we're talking about. Bitcoin perpetuals seen becoming an even bigger driver of prices. Now, as we scroll down, the main aspect of this article is right here. Perpetuals have a larger share of volumes compared to spot. And the theory is that more and more price discovery is happening in perpetual markets, with long-short pressure having more of an influence on prices. How do we translate this information? Well, let me break it to you simply. You go onto a chart like this. Right in front of you is Bitcoin's price. Over here, it's currently trading, or whatever it is, at 29,484. Now, at the highest point right here, that is where traders are short. In other words, traders that use leverage, that favor lower prices, that's where their liquidation point is, or the point where they lose their whole account, or the amount of money that they've invested in the trade. Right now, it says there's $268 million worth of short liquidations. Shortly below that, we've got another area which shows $567 million worth of short liquidations at the 29,750 region. That's where the short traders have their positions. Now, we go into the price of Bitcoin itself, and we can see that it's moving up. Now, we haven't taken the 30K zone just yet. Now, we know from last night's live stream that there's around $4.5 billion worth of short liquidations in and around the 30,300 zone. Now, to verify that, I only have to go over to this chart right here, look on the 7-day chart to see if that value has actually changed, which then goes in line with the article that we've just read a few moments ago, talking about how long and short traders are influencing the price of Bitcoin. So listen to this. We zoom in and we can see that at the 30,300 zone, there is now $3 billion worth of short liquidations. So a couple of days ago, there was around 4.9. So that means short traders are taking profits off the table. Alternatively, they could be adding more shorts and thus increasing their liquidation point because they don't think Bitcoin can go any higher. If we go to a higher price point and look on the monthly chart, we can then determine exactly over the last month where our traders' heads at and how likely can we assume that Bitcoin's going to continue higher. So you can see right here, we have got ourselves an area of interest. Only at the 30,100, we've got $13.7 billion worth of short liquidations. Now let's go to the actual price point of 30,300. What do we have there? We've got 17.2 billion. Now, this is on a monthly time frame. So over the last month, there is now an interesting point of $17.2 billion worth of short liquidations. I ain't even going to tell you about what's up here. At the top side at 31,300, we've got $16.4 billion worth of short liquidations. Now, do you see how this story right here has weight in suggesting that Bitcoin's price is being influenced by short sellers and, of course, longs, all right? Just by looking at the way Bitcoin's behaving right now, from a technical standpoint, looking at Bitcoin, as long as it stays above this 50 EMA on the 1-hour time frame, then we're going to see movement continue to the upside. Going into higher time frames, that's going to help us understand how likely Bitcoin can continue. We zoom out on the chart, and we've got a couple of points of interest in the chart that we need to be very careful of. Each of these zones that you see that are red vector candles, this zone right here, and you've got also this zone up here, these are areas in the chart that Bitcoin can sell from. And just ever so slightly in this area right there, if you can see it, that is an area where Bitcoin can actually sell from. Now, shorter term, you are always going to see Bitcoin do the following: spike up, spike down, spike up, spike down, but progressively rise in price based on how interested people are in the belief of Bitcoin's value going higher or lower, okay? Now, each of these points in the chart are areas that we can assume that market maker is going to be realizing a return from, because the red vector candle says that this is where the market maker traps retail traders to go short. He is buying those contracts that people are selling, because you can't buy if no one is selling, and you can't sell if no one buys. There would cease to be a marketplace, and that's the important role that the market maker has. He provides us the liquidity, which then goes into the story of this gentleman's article right here, suggesting that because of traders who have an interest in value of Bitcoin going higher or lower, that relationship is what's causing Bitcoin's price to effectively move up higher. So in other words, market maker can see that he has contributed, stick with me, 13.7 billion, 15.5 billion, 17.2 billion, 10.2, 7.1, 9, 15, and it goes and it goes and it goes. This is market maker's money, because in order to have those positions open, retail has used leverage, okay? Now, in order to get the access of leverage and using a small amount of money to get access to a larger pool of money, because Bitcoin's not a cheap coin to trade, people use leverage, and market maker subsidizes that. He gives them the extra bit of capital. So when you're using 100x leverage, you're borrowing money from the exchange. That exchange is getting that liquidity from the market maker. The exchange profits from your transactions, and he takes a cut, but he pays most of the cut to the market maker for supplying the liquidity. When was the last time you used Binance or Bybit and ever had a problem with your order being filled? It just doesn't happen. Why? Because market maker makes sure that you have got liquidity matched to your position with leverage, so you get the luxury of being able to open a trade, whether it's long or short. So now we take this information and say, all right, if this is Mr. Market Maker's money, what's the guarantee of it actually going there? Well, there is no guarantee, ladies and gentlemen, but we can use certain tools to help us understand how likely Bitcoin is going to continue higher. So we're going to the 4-hour time frame. Now we're going into the weekend, which does promote volatility because everyone's got now access to the charts. Everyone that's working in the week that doesn't have the luxury of being at the charts now has the chance to trade Bitcoin. So there will be volatility going into the weekend. Now listen, if Bitcoin stays above the 50 EMA on the 4-hour time frame, so this is the 50 EMA cloud, and this is the blue line, the 50 EMA. As long as price stays above that point, and as long as more and more people believe that Bitcoin can't go up anymore, price will effectively keep on moving up. And this is what we would call, the term in the stock market would be a short squeeze, because what's going on is you've got traders up here with positions and the market keeps on creeping up and taking that liquidity and squeezing out the shorts, because what they're doing is they're going against the trend. So the trend goes against their logic of the trend. They believe that price should be lower. They keep on putting money into the chart and then hoping that price is going to drop. And the market maker does a good job of making them believe that, especially with today's price action where Bitcoin drops down towards the 28,800 zone and then instantly reverses. These are the tricks that Mr. Market Maker uses to get you to buy and sell. Can you identify those tricks? Here's an example. Look at these areas. We highlighted these vector candles yesterday in the live stream. Mr. Market Maker forces price down. He then brings it back up again. Well, why? It's not because people believe that Bitcoin must be priced higher or Mr. Market Maker believes it should be priced higher. It's because he brought so many contracts from retail traders who believed that price was going to continue lower. That is evident with the liquidations in the chart. Now we go back into the chart and we see that Mr. Market Maker has actually returned price back up. And one of the key aspects to determining Bitcoin's movement back up was the presence of these violet vector candles. If you can see, these are violet vector candles, which give us the idea that volume is starting to increase above average. But at the same time, it can also mean that it's actually slowing down. Because if you have this green vector candle right here, which suggests that price is rising 200% above the average, you would assume that that is a lot of volume, which is correct. So why on earth did they reverse it back down again? This is what you would call a climatic candle. It's all psychological. That was a reason for you to buy, because that was the advert by Mr. Market Maker. He made you believe price was going up. So you then, as a retail trader, went to Bybit, went to Binance, and opened a leveraged trade with the belief that Bitcoin is pumping. He instantly reverses it back down because the only way that you can open a long trade is if Mr. Market Maker sells it to you. When you open a long, realistically behind your position is a short, because this is a zero-sum game. Now, moving into the weekend, ladies and gentlemen, my belief is that we are maybe going to hit that 30K zone only because we can see that the liquidity is close by for them to attack. Now, as long as they stay above the key 50 EMA cloud in the weekend, then there is a good chance that Bitcoin's going to sustain this move and climb higher. Be careful, because the weekend does have the tendency, can't even speak properly, to snap back down, okay? Now, my projection that I gave at the start of the week, well, last week on Saturday for the patrons of the channel, we are right now inside of this area right here. Now, this is where I'm expecting Bitcoin to end up. The spike up needs to happen, which factors in the 31,000 point. Now, I'm going to be updating those guys tomorrow night again with my next weekly projection. So from now up until that point, we would assume that we need to see Bitcoin spike up and then follow through with a move even lower. But it's all going to be based on what it does inside this 50 EMA cloud. That's the deciding factor. Now, if you've made it this far, mad love and respect, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you do have a good weekend. And if you haven't done so already, go over to the Traders Reality website, tradersreality.com, where you can download the hybrid system free of charge, get with the pattern watchers in the Discord. And if you want to expand your learning a little bit more and have an understanding of the terminology that I use, get yourself over to the Patreon, where you're going to learn and get access to around 75 lessons where I break down many strategies within the hybrid system. Now, listen, go have yourselves a great weekend. Mad love and respect. And I'll be checking in with you all next week. Take care of yourselves, gang. Peace.